welcome to the first live audience filmed Planetary Persuader officially. Okay, all right. So this is for a really auspicious weekend today. We're on June 19th. Tomorrow at, I believe, 2:48 p.m., the sun moves into Cancer in the tropical zodiac. In other words, it is summer solstice. Okay, so this is the longest few days of the year right now. It's like in the northern hemisphere, we're like, bring on the light, let us show light and rejoice in all how much light we've had, because now the sun's going to be shrinking after this. But of course, we got a few hot summer months. And ironically, my friends who are in the live studio audience are all, each one of them has a sun sign in a different summer month. And I thought, God, this is so cool. Let's break this out and just like celebrate summer. And and it's I hope you don't feel used by your sign. I hate that when I do that. But anyhow, when we're looking at the actual constellation of Taurus today, and that's for the moon. That is just for the moon. And the moon is in the lunar mansion known as Mrigashira, or Mrigashirsha. And what is it about Mrigashira, Mrigashirsha? It's ruled by Mars. So there's a sense of like, we want to be independent. We want to do something. We want to take action. Now it's half in Taurus, half in Gemini. So here we have this Venetian-ruled part that craves kind of a sensual, like physical experience of satisfaction. But then there's just the sheer curiosity of Gemini and Mercury rulership, which is also a Kama sign, wants a sacred marriage ultimately. But the story is about a totally unsacred marriage, about Brahma lusting after his own daughter, and then the daughter fleeing. And then so Shiva sees this as not good, turns the daughter into a doe so she can run away. Brahma turns himself into a stag to pursue the deer. Shiva sees that, takes a sword, cuts Brahma's head off. And the deer's head in the sky is Mrigashira. And it's interesting that the President of the United States, his sun sign is in Mrigashira constellation, and it really says a lot about some of his earlier comments, and so it's an interesting thing. And this is you won't find this in the Western zodiac. This is only in Jyotish by studying the sidereal, even though this show is primarily to the Western zodiac, because that's what most people are familiar with, frankly. And I'm just trying to lure you in, In fact, you know what? I am gonna say the prayer to all the planets being peaceful, at least through Saturn, and everything's still, there's lots of retrograde. So if you think things are messed up in a way, they are, and it's okay. We can be content in this reality that we're actually universally just like, this does not feel right. And now that we've got Mercury retrograde, along with Venus retrograde, along with Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, that's like most people in the zodiac, almost everybody is influenced by one of those four planets that I mentioned. Jupiter retrograde, Saturn, Pluto, in the outer planet sense. So it's a lot. So Om Brahma Miristripran Takare Banu Shashi Bhumisuto Buddha Sha Guru Sha Shukra Shani Rahu Keteva Sarve Grahas Kara Shanti Bhavantu. Actually, it was Shanti Kara Bhavantu, but it was my first try, and I got nervous in a live audience. But anyhow, that's to say all planets be peaceful, because I want everyone here to experience a peaceful week and total peace in their life. And we're starting with you, Aries. We've got this new moon eclipse, though. Let's just go over this now. And this is really important because new moons are more important than full moons. The new moon sets a tone. The new moon sets a vibration. When it's a solar eclipse, it means that part of the sun's blocked. This is auspicious. This is happening within 24 hours of summer solstice. And so this is a big deal. This happens Sunday, or actually it happens Saturday night Pacific Daylight Time at 11:41 p.m. So this Saturday the 20th, 11:41 p.m. is a new moon. And at 2:48, like I said earlier, that's when the thing happens where we go into Cancer. So I guess, it's okay for me at that point, since most of the week we're in Cancer. So, Aries, welcome to your horoscope. So, we've got Mars in Pisces right now. It's the 12th house. And, what I know about Distana houses, 12th, 6th, or 8th, is that actually malefics, like Mars, can function better in them. Now, sometimes I've heard it's warning about this, that it's about the house of secret enemies. And so you need to be aware of, where, people that don't have your back sometimes. That's the worst part about it. We also have Uranus in the 2nd house. So things involving money are very speculative, and they really don't necessarily pan out. It's boom and bust. Pluto, Jupiter together in the midheaven. So the work environment's really charged, and you might be doing really well by that. It could be destroying you, or it could be creating a miracle. It can go either way. And then, of course, Saturn in Aquarius sets the tone. It's like that mood. People have had enough of having the government be like a bully, and so we're seeing a lot of people in their frustration wanting to express that, and then we also see a lot of people that are like concerned people. They're like medical workers and people just bringing food and wanting to bring the love, and those people are the saints, and that's the stuff I'm always all about. So here we go. Taurus, welcome to your horoscope. So Taurus, Uranus is in the 1st house. It's kind of a more unpredictable place and experience you're going to have over the next several years. And I always go back to back in World War II and the tail end of the Great Depression. We have this Uranus and Taurus thing, and so this doesn't surprise me. That was the last time it happened. This is what's happening again. Somebody was saying, Neptune in Pisces, it's a period that's similar to the era between the gold rush and the Civil War. And photography was invented during that time period. Our use of fossil fuels became really exploited and developed in that time period. So these are a lot of things that are kind of going through sort of a revolution too at the same time as we're seeing this period go. And that's where your Mars is. So you could be involved in that socially. I could see that. Same time, Venus in the 2nd house with the moon this weekend. Venus has been retrograde. There's like this blessing. There's this like slow letting go and taking on this feminine energy of just kind of a beauty and a softness that you can, have in your speech, and overall have good communication, because your Mercury is in the 3rd house during this retrograde. All right, so greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So for my Gemini friends, Mercury retrograde is always, notorious with havoc. And now in this case, since it's in your 2nd house, you might say stuff that later on you regret. And that's the part of it. It's like, it wasn't what I was saying. Okay, to our fearless leader, this wouldn't be a surprise at all. Maybe it'll be making sense now that Mercury's retrograde, I don't know. But, here we are with the north node of the moon, too. And the north node of the moon brings a desire that has no bottom. So, and it's also related to like the tail end, very tail end of Gemini, beginning of Cancer in the Western zodiac. It falls into Gemini in the sidereal zodiac, and this part of the sky called Rahu. And Rahu's about where we're dissatisfied, and it's wailing. But there's also an intelligence, and there's a lot of emotion, and a lot of saintliness, for some reason, comes in that nakshatra. So it's like you have to look forward to something good coming out of all of this, and, well, greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. And if you are a Cancer born, 21st, 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, it's happy birthday. This is a special time, and this is like, the renewing, and Cancer's key phrase is I feel. So we think of it about, going into emotions, sensitivity. Parenting is, and home life is attributed to the sign of Cancer. And so, and sometimes eating and the digestive system and breasts as body parts. So one thing I think it would be really cool during this Mercury retrograde is like people really talk about their feelings more than just like their thoughts. Like, well, this is how this makes me feel. It's not that you're making an observation and how it affects you versus making an analysis or judgment. That's a very, so it's that Marshall Rosenberg stuff. It'll come really handy, during this Cancer season during the summer, this long hot summer, right? A lot of partnership issues. There's kind of this transformation going on as far as that goes in your life. So, you know, that's sort of something to look forward to. And, you know, and my friend Bill, who's in the audience, he is so squarely in the revolution, you know, with Uranus in his 11th house transiting it. In fact, Bill, will you come up for just a sec here? You know, I just want to, yeah.
How's it going? Where should I stand?
Just stand right here. Stand here next to me so we'll both be in the camera.
Both in the camera.
This is my friend. This is, he goes as Guillermo.
Spanish William. Yeah.
He is just an incredible human being here in Chico, California. He's done a lot of work in advocacy for people without homes and shelter. He makes things humane, and he's also a Cancer. And so talk about, like, he makes everybody feel at home, brings it home. I just want to give it up to you, Bill, and happy birthday in the next coming week. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so thanks. All right. Okay. So, you know, so Cancer, I appreciate you, and, you know, you're on to some high adventures. All right. So next, coming up next is Leo, whose key phrase is I will. And for Leo, Cancer times the 12th house. So this is a place, a house of loss. This is kind of the place where you kind of have to cut your losses and sum things up, you know, in a lot of ways. And it's also about the dream time, and it's also about getting out in wilderness or going on a spiritual retreat somewhere, because this is 12th house rule. So Mercury's there, things you said, you know, no, caught up in he said, she said. You know, the thing is, you don't want to do that. I mean, this is a time to go into that prayer closet if you have a spiritual life, or even if you don't, but you like nature, just sit by a creek and listen to the sound of the creek as if it was talking to you. Really be in the presence of creation and the Creator's vibration, and find yourself a place of renewal. That's where the healing is at during this period. I mean, there's a lot of demands on you, physically, socially, you know, at work, I would say, and, you know, you're kind of impatient for other people to take care of business and all this kind of thing. It's like, you know, just let it go. You know, you'll get through this. Another 4.5 weeks, we'll be celebrating you. Okay. So, greetings. Yes, greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Wait a second. I got to go back to, I didn't have Rebecca. Rebecca is a good friend of mine. Yeah. This is great. So this is Rebecca Charles, and Rebecca she is like the sweetest sister and a wonderful friend in my life, as well as a good musician. Let's make sure you're in the camera here too. And she is a Leo. She goes on the sign of Leo. She's I think her birthday is August 10th, and you know, she's a fun person to celebrate life with. So, you know, there we go.
Thank you.
So you're in good company, Leo. All right. So, greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope now. All right. So, on this one, you know, it's like about your social life. Your social reality is going to kick off with this eclipse, which is really weird. And so it's like bringing together the highest people, you know, the best people, you know, it's like one of the gifts you can do. So like if you're a Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising, this is a time of year you guys should have a party is what I'm saying. It'd be a great auspicious time. So, Mercury's retrograde, that's a little bit weird, but it's in a social house. So sometimes connections sort of get missed that you'd like to have or be at. But just like this show tonight, you know, is based on spontaneity. Beautiful things happen, you know, and I'm so grateful for these three people. This is the last one I'm introducing. The last sign of summer is Virgo. And, yeah, go marching in. And this is my friend Anna, and she is like the significant person in my life as far as, you know, the whole, you know, stuff. Nod, nod, wink, wink. Did you want to say something before I?
Hello.
She's got a great voice. Peace and love. Okay.
Oh, I guess I will say that Chad is going to be organizing a video concert. Chat is Chico Housing Action Team, and I'm going to be partaking in that. So if you can, yeah, please tune in.
Okay. There we go.
Woo! code promo.
There we go. Okay.
Is that it? Okay, bye.
Yep, I think that works. Yeah. So that's the signs of summer. And, there's a lot of career stuff, too, going on. And that you just have to, like, keep on the chill vibe at work. This is especially for me, or people that have jobs. Because, there's that hunger that goes no bottom. There's that restlessness that comes with Rahu, the north node of the moon. And Venus is there. I mean, think of it, in a lot of ways. So, I mean, some of you are affected by Venus, and anyhow, we're going into the land of Libra right now, who's totally affected by Venus. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. First sign of autumn. Looking within, Cancer time. This is when your career takes off. This is when you, and this eclipse is largely about that, like your work karma, and what you're supposed to do and be doing in the world. So that's a lot about Libra right now. And there's a lot of things out of your control. I mean, but like exercise, especially like swimming, could be really a big friend for you right now, as Mars is transiting the 6th house. So in the Western zodiac, tropical zodiac, and same thing. Like there's you're transforming your home with Pluto and Jupiter there, and really listening to your higher teachers and just kind of getting into that place. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so the situation is this. Most of you Scorpios or in Scorpio risings, especially if you're born before the 16th, the 16th could be either way, but if you're born before the 16th, usually through November 15th, you're actually sidereal Libra, so I would pay attention. This Venus retrograde is probably running havoc on you to some extent. And so I'd be looking at that as well. But we'll look at Mars right now. Mars is in Pisces. That's the 5th house. It's like you've got some creative juice right now. You're doing things. You're writing songs, writing plays, telling stories, putting together picture scrapbooks of the family and your kids, or all that kind of stuff, that good stuff. Cancer time is a really nice time for you. Actually, like the best Scorpio moons happen when the sun's in Cancer. That's my experience. Even though Scorpio moon is normally like a moon of dissatisfaction, like if there's a Scorpio moon, which there will be in a couple weeks, or less than that, you're gonna feel the vibe. But now in this new moon, Gemini is kind of like, it's 8 signs away from Scorpio. It's the 8th house. Cancer's the 9th. So we go to the guru, we go to the teacher, our relationship to our father, all of that, and try to make something good out of it. Speaking of 9th house activities, greetings Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope. So I think Jupiter retrograde, it's still in Capricorn, and it's going to be happening till September. Now Capricorn Jupiter is debilitated because everybody's concerned about money, and and it's really true. To do fun things and to have spiritual faith, you need wealth. Even if you don't have it, like there's a lot of aesthetics, but they live in societies where people believe in that and donate to them, that there's a wealth in just that there's like in faith. And so Jupiter runs a lot on that. Like this is how churches are run, and any kind of faith group, and anything that's like charitable that deals with like some kind of higher knowledge, is going to be influence. All our teachers, all our fathers, all women's husbands. So let me tell you, when you have Venus retrograde and you have Jupiter retrograde, this is a very hard time for husbands and wives. Because like the Jupiter is significant of the husband for the woman, and Venus is significant for the husband of a woman, but of actually the wife of a man. And if you're, in a different kind of gender scale, whichever person resonates more, with the masculine or feminine, you kind of go with the opposite. And so what we're looking at here is, and if you're integrated and you're totally Zen, you probably don't even need this. But if you're Sagittarius right now, there's a lot more introspection. It's a lot of looking within, and you're kind of like used to being sort of life of the party type of person in a lot of ways. And so this is a transformational time. And this is not a time where you can expect to be in control of things. And so you're going to have to let go of what's not working for you and just have this sense of surrender. That's a really tough thing because it's ego crushing in a lot of ways to have the sense of surrender. When I was a kid growing up in Southern California, yeah, that's sans the accent, I used to body surf a lot, sans the skin cancer. And one of the things I learned was like if you're facing a really big wave and a big challenge, the best thing to do is to go underneath at the root of it. You know, you can't swim faster than it. You really shouldn't go over it because it'll slap your ass. And if you but if you go underneath into it, especially, you know, going underneath, you will end up getting out of the wave and getting to the other side of it. And so I really suggest, you know, for you during like this turmoil, think of that allegory. You know, it's like, and that means like you have to pause and you have to have compassion for the people that are doing absolutely asinine things. And in that way, you will find a place where in love, you'll be able to reach them. You know, but I don't think we reach people without love on the really good constructive level, you know. So anyhow, that's that for that. So greetings, Capricorn. You know, and here's somebody else, you know, it's like Saturn retrograde. I've heard other Capricorns kind of complain about this, like, or Capricorn risings, like, oh my gosh, this is just, you know, or even Aquarius risings. This is just nuts. Nothing makes sense. We're not able to reach our goals. Okay, it's fine. You know what? Not all goals are meant to be reached. Not all mountains are meant to be climbed. And I always go, like often I find comfort in this one Bible verse that says, in my weakness his strength is made perfect. It's like if I am not in a place where I'm doing okay, I can ask for the divine's help. You know, this goes for the Divine Mother as well as the Divine Father. They're there for you. You know, they're like the divine parents. You know, they're looking out for you. Shiva and Shakti, you know, they're Adonai and Asherah, you know, it's there in Judaism and stuff. I mean, there's half the story hasn't been told, you know. We want to have a fullness in all our relations, and you know, the divinity of women and mother. In fact, in, you know, Vedic astrology and Hindi, we have to be like mothers as gurus and teachers to people because that's like a way of being nurturing. You care about your kids, you know, and that's like so important when you're in balance. And Capricorn, you're opposite Cancer, so this is like a partnership time. This is a romantic time. This is also when you're kind of coming out of your shell finally, you know. Even though things are still retrograde, there's this ability that you're meeting people and you have something to talk about and share. And I see this kind of progression where things are about to get better and be lifted, and you know, you're going to like it. And you know, there's a miracle with Pluto and Jupiter together. I'm going to affirm that. That's my really strong belief with that. It's like, let's go for the miracle, you know. Here we go. Greetings, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So it's like, you know, there's always a roadblock, you know, when you have Saturn in the first house. And Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, they're all pretty close to each other, even though they're in different signs in Western astrology. And, you know, Capricorn and Saturn, not that different. I've always thought that, you know, Capricorn, Aquarius, I mean, they're both really smart, brilliant signs. Because Saturn's the slowest moving planet. And when you take your time, that's when you're actually able to learn the most. But there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of agony. There's restrictions. There's embarrassments. There's depression. And I think when people are embarrassed or hurt, instead of laughing at them, and it can be funny, you know, especially when a bully does, but we have to come back to that place. They're just babies. Let's love a baby. You know, let's bring it back to that and then gradually teach. These are our principles, you know. We want to do unto others as we would have them do unto you. You know, or the Buddhist principle too, you know, to fall 7 times is to rise 8. You know, there's you know, you just got to keep trying, and it'll get better. And that's basically it. I mean, Gemini time is actually kind of heart opening for Aquarius, which is like sometimes considered the coldest sign of the zodiac. I mean, even though they're really cool and stuff, there's just kind of this cool outside away from the sun long time. You know, think about it, late January to mid-February. Most places in the northern hemisphere, especially if you're 40 degrees north latitude or further, it's like not fun. You know, and unless you're skiing. Anyhow, so you're going to make it. So, greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. You know, you've got the energy right now, and maybe you're swimming in it. And one thing about Mars I've learned in some of my studies, you know, Mars is in Pisces in the first house still for this week, is like it's about compassion. And Mars is in Pisces in both systems. So this whole message of compassion and note is going to get a little bit more intensified during this time. Because the thing about Pisces is that they universalize all beings. You know, everything's kind of a dream. Sometimes they're really spacey and whatnot. And they do really well with Cancer energies. Another water sign. They do well with Cancer and Scorpio. So they are, this is a creative time for you. This is where you're going to get some great ideas. This is where your heart's going to open up again. And you have to love yourself a lot this time, because this whole side of the zodiac, where all these grahas are, all these planets, all these grabbers of your energy, is the side. This side's the self. This side's the family and the roots of the self. Anyhow, we've got a new moon eclipse. We've got this great new start. Let's say a lot of prayers. Let's put our best intentions forward and call each other on, yeah, what's that project of good you want to do in this time? And when we do that and work with friends, we make it happen. And I want to thank my live audience. You know, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Marn, the TV producer, for letting this happen. So we'll do it again next week.